Good morning. How are you? I hope you are feeling great. We had a bit of tears in the Lloyd household today because the kids have gone back to school and they really, really, really didn't want to go back. So lots and lots of tears. And it just got me thinking how fear creeps in at such a young age. And I overheard my little boy last night telling his sister that he was frightened that nobody would remember him at school. And he was scared that no one would play with him because they would have forgotten who he was. Breaks my heart. So they've gone off to school, and I'm sat here now wondering how they're getting on. It's really tough, but I'm sure he's going to be fine. But it just got me really thinking about how the fear sets in at such a young age. It's really, really interesting. And especially how two children can be so different, because my daughter's like really excited to go back, really, really happy. And my boy was just terrified, absolutely terrified. He was shaking. So today, I wanted to talk a little bit about inspiration versus comparison, because last week we talked about copying versus inspiration. And it got me really thinking about being inspired by and comparing. And I had a conversation with somebody, a friend of mine, Tanel. He came on video. We are in this video group and we chat each week and keep each other accountable. And he came on saying, I've been traveling around with my family, taking some time out. And I've started to see other people doing what I'm doing. And within their businesses, and I'm starting to feel that fear of missing out. Like, I should be doing more. I should be doing what they're doing. I should be working all the time. And he said, I'm feeling really guilty and really feeling like I'm not doing enough, and I'm feeling inadequate as a person because I'm comparing myself to these other people. And it was really interesting how I noticed that conversation, and then I've started to notice it in others and in myself. It's happened so many times. So I thought it was a great conversation to have this week. And especially with everything that's going on in the world right now, we often compare, and the difference between being inspired by someone and comparing. So when I went back with my advice, this is what I said to him. He was asking, at what point is it okay to compare yourself? Uh, I'm doing that and it's crippling me with anxiety. I'm starting to feel like really rubbish as a person. And so it got me really thinking about how I could help him. And then I started to think about our conversation last week about when we are inspired by somebody versus copying them. And I came across this great quote by John Acuff, and he says, inspiration tells you anything is possible. Comparison tells you everything is impossible. And I love this quote because there are situations where comparing is useful. So when we want to benchmark ourselves, for example, or see where we fit into a certain place, or I use this when I am pricing or comparing what I'm selling to what other people are selling. Sometimes I'll compare what is going on. And I say this to the artists that I work with, that sometimes, looking at what other artists are selling and how much they're selling it for and comparing what's going on. I think that's more benchmarking, though, personally, because comparing is when you start to look at that other person and go, okay, they're doing this or they're pricing this, so I should be doing this. And his quote goes on to say, inspiration fills you up, comparison empties you. Inspiration drives you forward, comparison pulls you backwards. Inspiration tells you there's still time to accomplish something amazing. Comparison tells you it's too late. Aren't they powerful statements? And it's so true. And I've done this time and time again myself, where I have started to follow other people that are helping artists, and I've started to see how they're doing things and how they teach and how they run their sessions and how they do their podcasts and how they do their live videos, and you start to compare and think, wow, they do things differently to me, so am I doing it wrong? Or, this person prices this and I price it this way, so there must be something wrong with me. It can be really, really damaging, where you start to, like it says, comparison starts to empty you. I've gone in complete panic before when I've seen other people doing things and thought, oh my gosh, I'm so rubbish, I shouldn't do this anymore. And it's so dangerous. And what I've done in the past, when I feel that comparison coming on, is I either just stop following the person. If I can't turn it around in my head, I literally just stop following them, stop looking. Or I reframe it. And we were talking about this inside my membership this week, that a lot of people compare themselves to somebody else's chapter 25 when they're only at chapter 1 in a journey in your life. So you might just be embarking on making art, for example, and you're comparing yourself to somebody who's at chapter 25, who's maybe been doing this for 25 years, or who's much further ahead. And it's not a comparison to be made, because you're completely at different chapters. And what I've learned as well over the years is that I'm me and you're you. And whenever I've compared myself to other people, they're being them and they're doing their thing their way. And the more I just focus on me and just being me and doing it in my own way, then that comparison doesn't empty me anymore. It doesn't pull me backwards. I start to be inspired. And what I do now is I follow people that inspire me. And being really mindful of this comparison. Are you comparing? And we do it in all walks of life, not just in art. We compare ourselves to our friends, to people on social media, to people in the news. So being really mindful of, am I comparing myself to people? Am I putting pressure on myself to keep up with things, to do things that other people are doing? And if so, is that pulling me backwards? Is that what's emptying me? Is it what telling me that it's too late? And looking for inspiration instead, people that fill you up. And I follow someone called Carrie Green. She's the founder of the Female Entrepreneur Association. And I love what she does, and I really aspire to do what she's doing, but in the art world. And why I love Carrie Green is I can follow her and I don't compare myself to her, because I feel very different and we teach different things and we've got different audiences. And so there's no reason for me to actually compare. I just feel inspired by her. And another reason why I feel inspired by her is because she gets things wrong. She does things and she's just herself, and she shares all of her mistakes, and it's so reassuring. And every time I start to feel like I'm not good enough, or I'm just not as good as this person over here, I go back and listen to one of Carrie's videos and I think, yes, she's doing it, and she's still making mistakes. We're all human. So it's really important to find those people that inspire you. And that's why I do these sessions. And this is why I'm bringing this to you, because I think the more we focus on our thoughts and the way we're reacting to things, And the more we can turn that around, it's definitely impacted my life and changed my life. Being aware of all of this and being aware of my thoughts, being aware of what's cropping up. And now I can feel as soon as I'm starting to compare myself, I can do something about it straight away before it manifests into real big self doubt and going off the rails in a different direction because I don't feel good enough. Now I recognize it and I think, I'm comparing myself to this person. They're them, I'm me. I'm going to stop looking at this person. And so I think it's a really good one to think about, comparing versus being inspired by. And when you compare, it's almost like you're looking at what someone else has or someone else does compared to what you're doing. And sometimes it can be healthy, I guess, if you're looking at maybe the speed that someone's done something in and you aspire to, but that again is being inspired by, isn't it? Because you aspire to do something in that speed that somebody else has done. That's kind of being inspired by. I'm still processing all of this myself. So I think, yes, compare, when we think of compare in a positive way, it actually goes back to being inspired. And compare is usually a negative consequence. And if it is negative, then we need to turn it around. And I think the more you just shine a light on that as well and be mindful of that in all aspects of your life, not just even in your artwork, when we start comparing ourselves to our friends, I will be honest now, I've really enjoyed the lockdown in some ways, because there's none of that frantic going on holiday, going here, buying this, doing that. And I realized how I am influenced by other people. And I compared how many holidays people are having, or what other clubs other parents are putting their children into. And I'm comparing my kids versus, like, okay, they're going to different clubs. And I'm noticing it now. I'm really thinking about it, like how much I have compared myself in the past and then taken decisions based on that. And it's easy to slip into the trap without realizing that we are comparing and we're doing things because we feel like we need to keep up or we need to be doing this. And it's been so nice during lockdown because I've kind of blocked myself off from other people that I haven't been doing that whole compare thing and keeping up with everybody. And there's a little bit of anxiety now of going back into that world of comparing and keeping up and doing all those things. So I'm going to be really mindful now of being inspired by doing things my own way and aiming not to get drawn into that comparison of not being good enough. I'm not showing up for my kids, I'm not doing enough clubs for my kids. And Tanel, who shared his story with me, said the same thing. I feel like I'm not providing enough for my family because I'm taking so much time off. But I said, but what you're providing is so much love, and your children have got all these memories, and it's not all about work, work, work. And he said he kind of knew that. But because he was comparing himself at that point with the people who were doing all these things and moving forwards, he said, I just feel like I'm not moving forwards. So it was a really, really interesting conversation. And I would love to just let that sit as a seed planted in your mind to take forwards from now, to think, are you comparing yourself? Are you making decisions based on comparison with other people? Are you emptying your confidence because of you comparing yourself to other people? Or are you telling yourself it's too late because you're comparing yourself to other people, or you're not good enough because you've compared yourself to other people? Ask yourself and just be mindful over the next week and beyond of whether you are letting this comparison thing hold you back. And let us know, and aim to be inspired by instead. And if comparison is taking over, eliminate it. Stop following people, or just if you can turn it around to, I'm going to actually do things my own way and be myself and be inspired by it instead, it can be a helpful thing to turn your brain around in that moment. So that's it, a short and sweet one today. Thank you so much for joining me. I am going to head to the comments now and see how you're all doing. And let me see. Lovely to see you. Happy Monday, everybody. Hello, Colin. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Hello, Stacey. You're still waking up. I had to get up early today to take the kids to school. It was a little bit of a shock to the system. Oh, Minnie says, I saw so many worried parents this morning. Well, my kids, like my girl was really excited, but then she got really upset seeing her brother so sad. And then, so we left the house today with them both going, whoa, and the neighbours were out looking, and yeah. Oh, yes, happy International Women's Day. Yes, thank you. And to all the women and men and everybody. We were having this conversation actually in the group about having certain days and how we should celebrate everybody. And of course, we do celebrate everybody, but it is really nice to just take a moment. And I was thinking about this the other day when I saw an advert on the back of a magazine saying how in 1969 we had technology so advanced that we could land on the moon, but women, single women, couldn't get a mortgage or buy a house unless they had a male guarantor. It's really interesting just how things have shifted just since then. And so much to be grateful for to all the women and men, I guess, who fought for women's rights. So, yes. The fear of starting something new, yes. Oh, Claire feels gone back as well. Yeah. Yeah, they'll be fine as soon as they see their friends. Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you everyone for sending all the love. It's really lovely. It's nice to have you all here. Hey Carol, I walked past our local primary school and it made me smile. So many youngsters smiling and laughing, running around and giggling. I don't think there's much work happening today, no. Oh, Stacey says here, I started to resent others last week. Their success is different to mine, and I forgot my own success. Yes. And this is another thing you've just reminded me of is when we're focusing on other people and what they're doing, we're not focusing on ourselves. And I say this when people start courses. So we've got a course, Make Your Mark, running at the moment, and it's really natural to start comparing yourself when other people are doing a course and you're doing a course with them. You'll start comparing, like, how fast are they going? What kind of work are they producing? It's just natural, I think, for us to compare. We're looking all the time as humans for differences and how other things are happening. But it's so damaging because then we start to think, I'm not fast as them, or I'm not producing as much as them, and I'm not as good as them, or resenting people. And what we're doing in that moment when we're looking at them and filling our heads with all that stuff is we're not focusing on ourselves. So I say this when people join a course is the more you're focusing on other people and what they're doing, you're not actually in the moment focusing on your own journey and on the course. So the more you're looking at these other people and comparing, the less you're getting out of the course yourself. So I think there is a place to see what other people are doing, but as soon as it gets really damaging like that and you're spending too much time on it, go back to yourself and your own journey. And I do that. I go back to, where am I today? What am I doing? But yeah, it's so easily done, isn't it, Stacey? I do it all the time. Oh, hello, Jason. Good morning. I've sold my first two paintings over the weekend. Amazing. It's so nice to know that people like my painting style. Oh, that's awesome. Well done. Oh, Angie, kids are back at school too. Hello, Donna. Hello, Sandra. Admin, yes, the admin lessons are coming out this week. My little girl was a bit poorly over the weekend, so I didn't have time to finish those off. So I'm finishing them off today and tomorrow. But there's no live video for that. It's a lesson that's going into the Hub membership this week, admin. So it's all pre-recorded. There's no live video. Yes, I will type the quotes out. Yes, I will, and I'll put them on the board. Yes. Oh, thank you, Simone. Yay, I love it, Minnie. Don't compare. I'm doing 2 different businesses, groups. Everyone offers something different and vital. Yes, they do. Yeah, Siobhan says everyone has different levels of success. For me, it is a success to be able to get out of bed. Nobody sees my success. It doesn't mean I'm not successful. I love that. We all have different perspectives of what success means to them. Yes. Oh, Will says, I see other artists, great work, even within the hub. And I think, how can I make myself heard in such an orchestra of talent? Oh, nicely worded. My voice at the moment must sound like a mouse's squeak. It's really interesting this because I've just gone, we've got, oh, it's very exciting. We've got a magazine coming out soon. And I'm interviewing somebody, Maria Brophy, and one of my questions to her is, how can an artist stand out and be seen and heard, to get her perspective on what you've just mentioned. And I think that, yes, you start to compare when you're in an art group, especially, and you start to see all the different types of artwork, or even artwork similar to you, and you start to think, what's the point in me doing this when they're doing something so much better? Or I've done this on Instagram, I've started to see all this work and I'm thinking, oh, I've done it myself. What's the point of me doing it when there's someone else doing it? Because you start to compare yourself. But there is a point, because if we all thought that, we wouldn't do anything, because there's always someone else doing something better in our eyes than we are. There'll always be, and there'll always be people further ahead than us, people doing things in a different way to us that we think is better than how we do things. And I was laughing this week because I do Joe Wicks. Joe Wicks is the body coach in the UK. He has a business called The Body Coach. He's not the only body coach in the UK, but he has a business called The Body Coach. You might have heard of him because he's quite big now. And I was laughing because I found one of his older videos this week from 4 years ago, and he's like someone filming and they're holding on to the camera. And I was watching this workout going, gosh, is it me moving or them? And then I realized that it was someone hand holding the camera. And it just made me realize how, how far he's come in that 4 years. Like, now he's got a production team and proper videos, but he didn't start out that way. He started with somebody hand holding in his living room. And, if he would have compared himself to all the other coaches and instructors online doing it, then he wouldn't have got very far either. And it's like, we have to honor where we're at, don't we, and just do things. In fact, I've got loads of videos from when I first started out, and I used to have the same feelings when I first started to do my lives and my videos. And I think with artists as well, I've been in groups and on Instagram when I've started following other artists, and I've started to think, what is the point? I'm just not as good as them. But when we're comparing ourselves to all these other people, our buyers or our customers, our who, as I call them, they're not seeing through your lens. So they're not seeing all the artists that you're comparing yourself to. When someone comes into your world, they're seeing your art in whatever context you're putting it into. They're not comparing and seeing all the hub members or everyone in the virtual art studio or everyone on Instagram that you're following. They're not seeing the world through that way. So it's really interesting, because then they're seeing something completely different. So, and I think when you think about how can I make myself heard, going back to what I teach inside the hub through the 7 keys, it's about pulling out your voice and connecting it with people in some way, and you actually don't need that many people to get started. When you start to connect with a few people who like what you do, that's how I started with United Art Space. I remember the first time I opened a group, I had 5 or 6 people, I think, join. And it started there. I just was like, hey, I'm doing this thing called United Art Space, and here's my group. And there was like 6 people that joined. I was like, yay, I've got 6 people. And I had like 5 people on my email list, and I was emailing these people. And it starts there and builds up. And now, today, there's like nearly 30,000 people on our email list, which blows my mind. Um, so, yeah, it's like my voice was tiny, still is tiny compared to when you compare it to other people who've got millions and millions. So I could compare myself to other people and I'm really, really, really small. And then I'll compare myself to someone else and I'm kind of got a really big audience. It's like, there's always going to be differences and people who are more advanced and behind. And so we've got to focus on our own journey, because there's so many people doing different things and at different places. And when we bring it back to where we are right now and taking our own steps forward, that's where we're at. So yeah, it's a great one though, because I think, especially as art, so visual, and you've seen all these artists. Yes, I will put those words out. I'll turn that into a graphic and give the author of those quotes credit today. I'll get those turned into a graphic and we'll send that out and we'll share it and remind ourselves and put it out on our boards. Yeah, I like this. So, yeah, when you're thinking at that point, I wish I was more like them, there'll be somebody thinking the same about you. Yeah, definitely. Oh, I like this. So Beth said yes. Oh, let me just move this out of the way. This is what happened to me this morning when I looked on Instagram and saw an artist doing the same thing as I'm doing. It made me feel really disillusioned. I know this is not fair either to me or to the artist, who was really great. I need to change my mindset. Yes. Yeah. And be kind to yourself. I know that we all feel like this. So, yeah. And in this situation, when I've had this happen to me, I'll either turn that person into inspiration. So I'll make a conscious decision that, okay, I'm going to stop comparing and being resentful. I'm going to be inspired by this person. And if I still can't do that because because usually if we can't do that, it's because we've got our own insecurities. And I've had this before where I've tried to turn somebody into inspiration, but I couldn't, because it kept haunting me that they are so much better than me. And that's because I'm insecure, feeling some kind of insecurity at that point. There's something, and it's really interesting to go back to your own internal self and go, why am I feeling like this? Why are they triggering me in this way? Because it's not them, it's me. Why am I feeling like I'm not good enough? And when you bring it back to yourself, you realize I'm feeling insecure about something, I'm feeling resentful about something because of something that's going on internally. It's really, really interesting. And I've usually found that when I've just stopped following them and gone back to my own journey, I've overcome it. So yes, it's really, really, really interesting. Um, oh, hello, Joan. Lovely to see you. I'm completely going. I was glancing at everyone else's amazing art, then I stopped and said, "Let's do this." Yes, let's do this, Joan. Um, yeah, and Instagram can be brutal in the comparison trap. It really can. Yeah, be careful who you follow. If you are feeling a bit triggered by other people, fill yourself, fill your feed rather, fill yourself, or fill your mind, fill your feed with people who inspire you, people who just reassure you as well. Like for me, Carrie Green, I cannot thank Carrie Green enough, because she's just so real. And every time I have a wobble, I just go and listen to her and I'm like, yes, it's okay. It's okay. Um, I was going to quickly check the comments. Good morning from Italy. Nice. Oh, Yvonne, hello. It's literally, literally just started painting, and I've been asked by someone if they can buy my painting. I don't know because it's just experimental. I'm not even sure if the paints I've used will fade, etc., because they are not the best quality. They are saying I'm underestimating myself. Oh, Yvonne, you are in the hub, are you not? I think if you're a hub member, go and ask in there and we can help you with this. But um, if you're worried about the paints, there's ways that you can finish a painting um, and protect it. And also, you can say that, yeah, here's the price. I've used inks before and I wasn't sure of the light fast qualities. I just said that. I just said, and I refused to varnish it or finish it as well. So I sold it based on that. I said, this was an experimental piece. You're welcome to buy it. I think as long as you're honest, but you might find that your paints are okay and there's something that you can do. Congratulations. Anyway, it's really good. um, Evelyn, hello. What about when people unfollow you? I get a little upset. I guess they're not my who. Yes, definitely. Don't get upset. I love people unfollowing me. I used to get upset about it, but now if someone unfollows me, they are doing me a favor. And so I'll be emailing my email list as well this week, actually, to not encourage people to unsubscribe, but I'll be putting a big unsubscribe button to say, if you don't want to receive these emails anymore, you can press here and unsubscribe. And I do that to clean up my list because I only want to email people that want to hear from me, because it hurts your reach. If people aren't opening your emails, then they start going into junk, and it costs money as well. So it costs money to have people on my email list. But also on Instagram, if people follow you and they're not engaging with you, that's going to hurt your reach as well. So yes, I don't worry about people unfollowing. And I just think if you're being authentic and being true, then the people that really want to hear and show up will show up. So yes, I wouldn't worry about people unfollowing. I love this, Claire. What a day. Whilst listening to you, I've literally just sold one part of my very first collection for International Women's Day. Biggest sale so far. That is amazing. That is amazing. Yeah, it does. Yes. So if people aren't engaging with you on social media or even liking your posts and things like that, they actually do you a favor by unfollowing you. Yeah. Okay, right. I'm going to head, everybody. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. And if you are a hub member, I will be live on Thursday and I will be going over the final key, which is taking action. And I'm going to be talking about if you're feeling overwhelmed and how to focus on the next 3 steps all the time. And yes, have a great week, everybody. And just be mindful of comparing and stop it, nip it in the bud and transfer it to being inspired by instead. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, everybody. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.